You're watching Forget Being Cool.
Hi, Keith.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, man, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Just hanging out with some crackheads, knocking them down, stuff like that.
Yeah, we played games because we got Game Pass. Did you know that?
I did. I might need to check my subscription soon, but I did. I did know I had it.
We got it. It's not a lot of games to play on it, apparently.
There's a lot of games. There's just not a ton of games that I would say are stellar titles.
Stellar titles. I didn't know what we were going into with this one, right? This is a game that's kind of been on our radar since we started this show, right? And I was excited to play it. I don't know about you.
I was excited because it was like a, relatively speaking, big AAA title to come out. The great thing of, the kind of key feature for most people, I would say, of Game Pass, besides the fact you can get, whatever, is all the first-party Microsoft stuff comes out day one. So when Halo comes out, it's going to be day one available on Game Pass. So this is a big first-party, non-Forza, non-Halo Microsoft game, which you don't get that many of them, that aren't Forza every single year.
Right.
So, yeah, this was a big title to come out for them.
How are you feeling?
I, relatively speaking, liked it. I mean, I'm not going to say
it a lot too.
I'm not going to say it was perfect, but
no,
I'm not a big shooter fan, as relatively people know. So like the lock-on feature, baby mode or whatever, is good for someone like me because
Same.
I just don't care about shooters enough to be good with twin sticks. I thought traversal in the game was pretty good, like getting the double jump pretty quickly, in the game, and finding little ledges, trying to go find the orbs, for power ups and whatnot. So I definitely enjoyed it more than I thought I would going into it. You know what I mean?
I don't know how sold I am on the world we're in, right? Like, it's a little ridiculous. It's a little dumb, but at the same time, it's like the comic book style, like the art when we stop for the cutscenes and stuff. Like, I'm like, this is really cool art. Like, I don't necessarily think it looks really good.
It's not like, oh my god, best graphics I've ever seen type of level, no.
Right.
But it's crisp and the art style looks good in like, a nice high res.
Yeah, and like you said, the gameplay is fun. Like it is definitely a good, fun experience, and the hate that's circulating around like the circle around an Xbox, like that people don't like this game in general. I don't really get it. I mean, I know it's not the crazy AAA experience that people demanded, but it is a cool, stylistic, open world, cool traversal game. And I mean, if I'm going to say this and I'm going to be honest here, I like it better than I like Sunset Overdrive. I'm having a better time playing this than that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more than Sunset Overdrive also. I think Sunset Overdrive obviously being one of the first games of the generation, right. It's 3 or 4 years older at this point. I get that there's going to be improvements to things and whatnot, but yeah, I enjoyed the way traversal worked in this. That was the best part of Sunset Overdrive, was the traversal.
Right.
I didn't like the other stuff as much. I liked the gunplay in this much more, just because, the lock-on made it a lot easier.
That first, I don't know if you want to call it a boss fight. I guess it's kind of
before the credits rolled. Yeah.
Right. That is really fun in this. Like I had a
it wasn't difficult. It was just he went that way. Whatever. But it's
But it is fun. I like the auto lock on. Yeah. I like that system a lot. I want that in more games.
Well, and especially when you're really I know a couple times I really jumped from a high level,
right,
and having the lock on, that'd be really tough as you're falling down I don't know, whatever, 4 stories of building to try and shoot that guy just right as you're falling down the way. So the lock on really helped, for things like that.
Were you driving the cars around at all?
A little bit, not a ton.
The cars are super cool. They're just they look cool. The neon is neat.
They do look cool. I will say this, kind of once you kind of got into the open world, after the credits, it did slow down for me. I kind of liked the more intro in the beginning, the more guided. Hey, we're gonna kind of go this way, and everything's kind of packed in.
I kind of feel like you're right in it. Wait, it would have been neat to play this game as like a
more level by level.
Yeah, linear kind of progression kind of thing.
Yeah, I think open world is great for certain types of things, but yeah, I do like a more crafted, like, hey, this is exactly kind of what we want you to see, and you got to get through this, and once it did open up, I did think it lost some steam. I'm sure it'll pick back up. I didn't play tons into the open world.
I did not either. I played it for a little while. I think it becomes more fun the more upgrades you get, which is what people said, but I didn't like the Mega Dads on their podcast said, this game really doesn't open up till the first 3 hours in, and I played the first 2.5 hours, and I didn't feel like burned out. Like I was like, no, this is still cool. I'm still on board. Just keep giving me stuff.
Yeah, but no, I liked it. It was a good game. Just better. It's been one of the better games that we've played on Game Pass, in my opinion.
I think it was overhyped. I think if you go in with reasonable expectations to say you are playing a silly, over-the-top, stylistic
superhero cops. Basically.
Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Don't
overthink it. It's kind of like how I feel playing Gears of War, right? Like, don't pay attention to the story because it's dumb.
Yeah. Corporations rule. I mean, okay, corporations rule the world to a certain extent, but they're not bombing the world. All right? Like, corporations are not like, North Korea bombing other cities. Like, calm it down, I don't think we're ever going to get there in the future. Apple is not going to be taking out Google anytime soon.
Yeah, not to cram us all into the city of acid lake around it or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, give it a shot, guys. It's on Game Pass. I want to talk about one more thing with you here, Keith.
Sure.
Because it circulates around this game a lot. People saying that this is the kind of game that will go to Game Pass. And therefore, this is the kind of quality we can expect from Microsoft's first party. And they're tearing it apart using this game as its example. And I just don't agree with it.
Well, I mean, look, not every game that comes out, period, is going to be on the level of a Halo, of a Forza, of a Gears of War. Those are AAA, big tentpole titles, that you get, let's say, once every 3 months. You get something like that, No, not even a Nintendo is big enough to have the equivalent of Mario or Zelda every 6 months, even, for that matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's
right.
Everything can't be that. So while this maybe isn't a AAA title, it's a very good, like, sort of AA title. It's got a budget. It's not an indie type of game, but it's not that over the top, hey, we spent $100 million to make this type of thing,
And do we think that this sets up like a future for every game on Game Pass to be?
No,
exactly.
No, look, it's the I don't, we'll see what happens come E3, but we're getting towards the end of the generation,
right?
So there are definitely titles that are being held back to be big things when they make announcements at E3 or whatever whenever they actually make the actual announcements. Microsoft has bought, I forget how many, but whatever it is, they bought like 5 or 6. They bought some more besides the ones they just announced.
Right.
They've bought something like 8 studios in the last 2 years. They're all working on things, obviously, but not everything is revealed. Not everything's going to be AAA. Some things that come out on this are going to be big, but hey, this game's a very nice AA type game, or a low level AAA type game. Does anybody think that when Halo comes out, that's not going to be a AAA blockbuster game?
Right.
I mean, it may not be as big as Halo used to be, but when that game comes out, that's going to be on Game Pass day one. Is that not a humongous game?
Right. Do people think that they're going to not put as much money into Halo? They're going to make a subpar version? Stop it. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. No. From that perspective, no, that's not a good train of thought. Hey, look, like I've said, I've looked at the list of what's available, and while there's a lot of games available, I'm not seeing tons and tons that are in my wheelhouse.
Right.
And and that is because part of that is because I have mainly been through most of my life, because of the age I grew up, more interested in Japanese games, role playing games, and Castlevanias and things, Nintendo games, things of that nature. Xbox is more Western focused, and the list reflects that. So do I wish there was
same way they don't sell a lot of Xboxes in Japan.
Right. Do I wish there was more things that fit what I wanted? Sure, of course I do. Everybody wants more free stuff,
Relatively free.
Right, but it's not look, I've looked at like PlayStation Now's offerings. It's not like I look at PlayStation Now's and I go, oh my God, there's so much stuff, I must have this. You know what I mean? It's amazing. People want you to buy their games. Shh, don't tell anyone. Like, it has to make financial sense for them to go on here. So that's why you do see more indie games and Microsoft-owned games on here. What is the reason for Square to put, like, say, Final Fantasy 15 on here?
There isn't.
You have to make it financially worth their time. They'd rather keep selling it than put it on here for free,
Right.
So.
Speaking of buying things, you guys, of course, you already know this, because this is like episode 16 of the show or something. But you guys can get We Got Game Pass shirts. I got mine in green because it's definitely the way it should look. But there's all sorts of coffee mugs and stickers and all that stuff over at forgetbeingcool.com. Click on the shop. You guys can get all the shows, all the logos, on whatever you want. It's super cool. And it helps us. It helps us pay back all the art and everything that we had made for the entire site, because it's going to take a while to pay that back. I'm Dave Moore. That's Keith Dahl. If you guys like this, hit that like button. You guys can subscribe to the channel. That would help us out a lot. Links in the description for everything else you'll need. My links, Keith's links. We got Game Pass links. Old episodes. Bye, guys.
See ya.
For more great discussions, hit that subscribe button or visit forgetbeingcool.com.